Okay, welcome everyone and Chag Sameach. I'm Becky from My Jewish Learning. Thank you so much for being here. We are going to begin our Yizkor service in a moment. I'm going to turn it over to Rabbi Kara Taj, who will lead us through the service. I'm going to be sharing a few links in the chat throughout, both the source sheet that Rabbi Tav has put together, and at the end, I will be sharing our book of remembrance, which hopefully many of you got over email. Thank you so much to all of you who submitted names of the people that you're remembering today. We want to make sure that everybody has a chance to see all of the names that were submitted. If you joined late and your names are not on the list, we'll send an updated version around as well. And you are also welcome to, like people have started to post names in the chat as well. So again, thank you for being here, and I will now turn it over to Rabbi Karatav.
Hi, good morning, Chag Sameach. We're going to begin with the first slide that has Psalm 23, which I think many of you will be familiar with. I'm going to read and you can follow along. Wait a minute. Can we have the first slide, please?
Yeah, let me get there, sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Can you see it now?
Yep. Can everyone see it? Give me a yes, you can see it. Okay. Mizmor LeDavid, Adonai ro'i lo echsar, biנות דשא ירביצני, על מי מנוחות ינעלני. נפשי ישובב, ינחני במעגלי צדק למען שמו. גם כי אלך בגיא צר מוות, לא אירא רע. כי אתה עמדי, שבטך, משענתך, המה ינחמני. תערוך לפני שולחן, נגד צורריי, דשנת בשמן ראשי, כוסי רוויה. אך טוב וחסד, ירדפוני כל ימי חיי, ושבתי בבית אדוני לאורך ימים. I want to just read that in English for everyone. A Psalm of David. The Lord is my shepherd, I lack for nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me to water in places of repose. He renews my life. He guides me in right paths as befit his name. Though I walk through a valley of deepest darkness, I fear no harm, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You spread a table before me in full view of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My drink is abundant. Only goodness and steadfast love shall pursue me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord for many long years. So from the beginning of the 11th century and onward, it has become customary to pray at key moments of the year for the soul of the departed. At first, this prayer was only said on Yom Kippur, but it soon extended to the last days of the other festivals. Today, the last day of Passover, 2024, Kaf Bet B'Nisan, Tafshin Pei Dalet, the 24th of Nisan, 5784, we are together to pray for the souls of our loved ones, our fathers, our mothers, our sisters, our brothers, our sons, our daughters, our grandparents, and our friends. This is a time when our minds are swirling with memories. We picture our loved ones at their best, or perhaps at their worst. We remember their touch, their laugh, their perfume, their fury. Some memories that rise may not be pleasant, but others are like old friends, a comfort. Some are fresh, some a broken record, but we remember. We feel the power of this loss. In some ethereal way, we are connected to one another in this moment, to echoes of the past, to futures we imagine. Someday someone will say Yizkor for us. What will they be thinking about? Remembrance is fundamental to Jewish tradition. The word zachor is repeated throughout the Torah, the tradition, and our Jewish lives. The past our tradition teaches is not lost to the extent that we remember it, honor it, keep faith with it. We are the heirs of our memories. We are part of a story that began long before we were born and will continue long after we die. Each day in our standing prayer, we recount that God, God's self, remembers the chesed, the mercy of our ancestors. And it is from this that we learn that for God, there is no forgetting. At Yizkor, our memory reaches out to God's memory, and we ask God to remember those of our loved ones who have died. And we ask God to look at the good we do by giving tzedakah, by delivering a meal, by making a phone call, by contributing in small ways and large. For it is because of their influence in our lives that we are praying the Yizkor service in their memory today. We try to do good in this life, and that is a product of the way we feel their loss in our lives. Their virtue lives on with us, and that is as much of our immortality as we can know, in this land of the living. On Yizkor, we also remember the martyrs who may or may not have someone to say Kaddish for them. Thus, we have become the guardians of their memories. The dead cannot be brought back to life, but we can act in such a way as to ensure that they will not die in vain by showing that the faith or the values for which they lived still lives on. A text was brought to my attention by my colleague, Rabbi Sharon Brous from California. She has just come out with a new book, and in it she mentions learning this text as a young rabbinical student, and she holds it as what she refers to as a life lesson text, and she has done so ever after. I was very curious, and I had to look it up and learn this text. So Sharon's interest in this text were about how and why communities function. She was a community organizing rabbi. As a rabbinic text, I see her reading and I agree. But as a chaplain, I have a different lens on it. The Mishnah, so we should learn it together before I go further. Can everyone see the text in their chat?
I'm gonna share it in the chat now. It's a Google Doc link that everybody should be able to open.
Right. I'm going to talk a little bit about the link, but I want to be able to go right to it. Okay. So let's look at it together first. It's from Mishnah Midot, chapter 2, Mishnah 2. So this Mishnah Midot is a 3rd century text. It is quite an obscure compilation of legal matters called Midot, or measurements. It is predominantly a discussion of ancient building measurements, blueprints, if you will. So when I Googled Mishnah Midot, because you always want to know what Rabbi Google says, Rabbi Google told me that this is the earliest treatise on geometry. On face value, it is not a really exciting or even commonly read text. I have even heard Mishnah Midot referred to as, and I quote, an arcane selection of the biblical canon that appears as riveting as a boilerplate cell phone contract. But I must disagree. So I'm going to read the text in Hebrew now, and you can follow along if you like. Kol hanichnesim lahar habayit nichnesim derech yamin umekifin veyotzim derech smol. Chutz mimi she'aro davar shehu mekif l'smol. Malach mekif l'smol shani avel. השוכן בבית הזה ינחמך, שאני מנודה. השוכן בבית הזה ייתן בליבם ויקרבוך, דברי רבי מאיר. אמר לו רבי יוסי, עשית כאילו עברו עליו את הדין, אלא השוכן בבית הזה ייתן בלבביך ותשמע לדברי חבריך ויקרבוך. Okay, now I'm going to...
Sorry, Rabbi, a few people can't see the text, so I'm just going to share my screen so that everybody can
Sure.
see it.
I'm going to read it now in English, which is also on the link you're receiving. There's the Hebrew. And now we're going to read the English, which is right here. All who entered the Temple Mount entered by the right and went round up to the right and went out by the left, except for one to whom something has happened. They entered and went round to the left. He was asked, I added the things in square brackets just to be clear. He was asked, why do you go around to the left? If he answered, because I am a mourner, they said to him, may he who dwells in this house, that is God, comfort you. If he answered, because I am excommunicated, which I read as alone, they said, may he who dwells in this house, that's God, inspire them to draw you near again, which I interpreted as, may God give you strength to reach out in your fullness. These are the words of Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Yossi said to Rabbi Meir, you make it seem as if they were treated unjustly, as if they treated God unjustly. Rather, they should say, oh, wait, I read that wrong. Rabbi Yossi said to Rabbi Meir, you make it seem as if they treated him unjustly, that is, the person they were passing. Rather, they should say, may he who dwells in this house, that is God, inspire you to listen to the words of your colleagues so that they may draw you near again. That is, so God may allow the people to see you for who you are and be open to you. Okay, now I want to look at the text more closely. We are reading the description of an ancient pilgrimage ritual in which thousands of people would ascend to the Temple Mount in Jerusalem with their offerings on the 3 harvest festivals, on Sukkot, on Pesach, and on Shavuot. The temple, it is described in the Talmud, had a technique for absorbing this huge crowd. As they pour into the courtyard, at the base of the mountain, they turn to the right and walk upwards in a spiral, counterclockwise. They go around the entire mountain and back down again, exiting close to where they entered. But this is the kicker. But someone to whom something has happened, she'er od davar, that's what it says in the text, she'er od davar, someone to whom something has happened, such as the bereaved or the excommunicated, which we read as the lonely or the abandoned at this point, they enter the courtyard and turn to the left and spiral up clockwise, winding toward the temple from the other direction. This creates a situation in which, as they go up to the Temple Mount, right, we have the big mass of people going this way, and we have the people We have the people for whom something has happened going the other way, right? So we have this happening. This created a situation in which, as they go up to the temple with their offerings, those who entered and turned to the right pass those who have turned to the left. As the ones who turn to the left pass by the throngs of pilgrims, they are seen and greeted along the route. From this text, we see that the pilgrims who turned to the right would stop, check in with them, and offer consolation, knowing that those they pass have had something happen. So they know that those they pass have had something happen. She'ero davar. Isn't this beautiful? It immediately reminds me of the bereaved after a burial. When you leave the grave site, you walk through the two lines of people who have attended the funeral. And those people, they've created a tunnel that you walk through, and they offer you words of comfort as you pass them. Or perhaps they just offer their presence, as the mourner takes their first steps away from their deceased. In Yizkor, we stand side by side, shoulder to shoulder, and in our case, eye to eye, with a community of fellow mourners. We stand alone in our memories, but together in our grief. Each of us circles to the left, winding our way to reach the memories of those for whom we say Yizkor today. Each of us passes the other, not needing to ask why they're there, but seeing their pain, standing witness to their memories flooding their eyes. So we, as our ancestors did, say Yizkor as pilgrims to whom something has happened on the winding road of remembering a life we witnessed. We feel honored or obligated to hold their memory, to give tzedakah, to memorialize them as they truly were. Whole people with missteps, with efforts, with joys, and with pain. We stand eye to eye today, and we say to the other, may he who dwells in this house offer you comfort. Now, I think Becky is going to put the slide up to say Yizkor together. And I'll just, Becky, maybe you should also put it on the screen in case people can't see like last time.
Can you see? No, sorry, it's paused. Let me go back.
Mm-hmm.
Sec. Wait 1 minute.
So now the slide is up, and I'll just say that if we were in a synagogue, we would say, take as much time as you need. But since we're on a screen, I'm going to say, take the next 5 minutes. And where you see that it's appropriate, mention the name of your loved one. Yeah, I'll interrupt you at about, let's say 3 minutes. And I'll just add something. I want you to remember to say Yizkor for the survivor, the martyrs of the Shoah, and then for the soldiers and citizens of Israel who were killed in the line of duty or acts of terror. But we can do that in a minute. I'll give you a moment to.
And I assume, Rabbi, people can do it in English or the Hebrew, whatever they prefer.
Course. So if you are still praying, please continue at your own pace. And I would like to remind you and encourage you to say Yizkor for the martyrs of the Shoah, as they probably don't have someone to remember them at this point. Also, please remember the soldiers and the citizens of Israel who've been killed in the line of duty or in acts of terror. I think, Becky, we're ready to move on. If you're still praying, please continue. I'm going to chant El Malei Rachamim. I think that you have that in front of you. In case you don't, we're going to put it on the screen too. Okay. El Malei Rachamim, Shochen B'Meromim, Hamtzei Menucha Nechona, Tachat Kanfei HaShekhinah, B'Ma'alot Kedoshim U'Teorim, Kezohar Rakia Mazirim, Et Nishmatam, Kol Eile Shizkanu Hayom Livracha, שהלכו לעולמם, וגן עדן תמנוחתם. לכן בעל הרחמים יסתירם בסתר כנפיך לעולמים. ויצרור החיים את נשמתם, אדוני הוא נחלתם, וינוח בשלום על משכבותיהם, ונאמר אמן. In order for us to end our service together, I would like to say Kaddish together. So Becky will.
Yeah, I'll show Kaddish, and I'm going to allow everybody to unmute so that they can.
You'll unmute everyone, and then I could ask everyone to please wait a moment until I say the first word, and then you can continue so that we try to stay together.
Okay, so everybody should be able to unmute themselves. So yes, let Rabbi have start us off.
Screen.
Salam, V'Naseh, V'Nadab, V'Naleh, V'Dalal, Shemei Kudashah, Barechu, Le'elam Min Kol V'Yarachta, V'Shirata, Tushbachata, V'Nechemata, Damar, Balma, V'Imru Amen. Yehi Shalom Alav Mishamayim, V'Amein Aleinu, V'Yakol Yisrael, V'Imru Amen. Yehi Shalom, V'Murumav, V'Yaseh Shalom, Aleinu, V'Yakol Yisrael, V'Imru Amen.
Amen.
Okay, good. That's good.
Yeah.
As we said the prayer.
Thank you.
You're very
said it
welcome.
good.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Now it's
I want to remind
Thank you,
everyone to
Rabbi.
look at the names that you're receiving in the booklet that Becky sent you.
tell her.
Thank
Todah
you,
Rabbi.
Rabbi.
Thank
Todah
you.
Rabbi.
Thank you, Rabbi. Thank
Good
you.
job.
Rabbi. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. How do we give a donation to my Jewish learning?
I'll email you. Thank you.
Just send us an email if you have questions or if you want copies of things. I'd be happy to send you whatever you need. And Becky also will get you what you need.
Excuse me, where are the names of the people in the booklet?
So you should have gotten the booklet in your email, but I'm posting it in the chat
Okay.
as well.
Okay, great.
There's the booklet. And again, if anybody missed the opportunity to add their names to that before we compiled it this morning, please feel free to send us names and we can add it and send it around to everybody as well. Thank you all for being here and thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you very, very much. Appreciate it.